Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? It's me, Mr. 4K Upscaler. Um, this video, it's something that's being requested of me to do because, as you all know, I do read comments. I do go to my forums via Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, you name it, PlayStation, Xbox. This particular request, it's from Europe. I've been getting a bunch of questions regarding my projector, and some individuals that ask me these questions, they're coming from Europe, and they would like to know what type of picture settings should I use and what type of tweaking should I implement into my projector. And they would like to know, do the same rules of picture settings, do the same methods of picture settings apply with TV panels to projector? And I'm here to answer those questions. Well, first, let me explain a couple of things to you guys so that way you understand the difference between the television panels and projectors. Let's start with the television panel. First and foremost, television panels are mainly made out of LCD. They have a LCD panel, and behind that LCD panel, they have LED, full array of LEDs, backlit lights. Now, those LED backlit lights are measured in peak brightness of nits. So the measurement of that light, it's measured in nits, peak brightness of nits. Now, the reason I'm saying this to you is so that way you understand that television, it's a different type of technology. Now, moving on to the projector. Also a different type of technology, obviously. Projector doesn't have any backlit, doesn't have any LCD. It's not a panel. It's projecting onto a wall or onto a screen. It's a projector. It's projecting an imagery from a lens, from a lamp, and through a DLP technology of chips or 3LCD technology chips. It doesn't matter. It's projecting that onto a wall. So projector, it's being measured by the brightness of that lamp, that lumens lamp brightness. So whatever the measurement of that lamp, of that luminous brightness that it can project onto a screen, that's all you're gonna get. That's what you're gonna get. So whatever lumens brightness of that lamp is on that projector, that's what you're gonna get. In this case, I'm using a BenQ 4K HDR HD 2550. So HD 2550 can only produce from that lamp 2200 lumens brightness light. So that's all you're gonna get in terms of brightness here. So this is it. That's what you're getting. This is why some people are looking for a higher lumens brightness projectors, because they like to have a brighter picture. Now, having said that, having explained this to you, you have to keep in mind you cannot use the same calibration picture settings that you normally do on your television panels and then try to implement them onto a projector. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work because they're two separate technologies. So now let me explain to you how I am using my picture settings with this projector. Here's my remote right here. First thing first, As you can see, I got everything to 50. 50, 50, 50, and then color 55, and then sharpness 0. Now you guys gonna ask, well, why is everything in the middle? Why is everything balanced? Why isn't contrast all the way high? You're using HDR. Don't you want to squeeze that HDR detail? Well, you can't do that here on Projector, because Projector HDR will depend on the color gamut that it's able to produce with that shifter, DLP shifter, and also the brightness of that lamp. All right, so remember, we don't have any LED backlit here. This is a projector. So this is why you need to keep your contrast at 50 and your brightness at 50. Now let's start with contrast, and I'll get back to brightness. Contrast, it's something that you need to keep at 50 at all times on a projector. Because what this contrast does, it adjusts the white, bright digital levels. And if your contrast is set to high, then your white, bright digital levels will be overblown and will be clipping. There's another term they use for when your white digital bright levels are overblown. They use the term called clipping. So if you ever heard the term called clipping, that's what they mean when your white bright digital levels are overblown. Now, what do I mean by the white bright digital levels? Well, for example, look at the sky behind Optimus Prime. There's a little bit of gray, gold, smoke burning clouds. Okay, there's a smoke because there's a firefight. So you got a little bit of gray, brown, yellowish smoke here, and you can see the detail of the cloud. So everything's in detail. So you can see the clouds here formed with different types of colors very easily. Now, that's because your white digital levels are balanced. What happens if I move my contrast all the way to up here, for example, to 95? Well, as you will see, you won't be able to see this detail of orange and brown of clouds being formed like this, because we're going to be clipping. We're going to be overblowing that digital, white digital level. Here, let me show you. So what happened here? Everything it's overblown. Your white digital levels have been overblown, and now you don't see any detail whatsoever behind Optimus Prime. And this is what's commonly known as clipping. So this is why you want to leave the contrast at middle. Because remember, this is not a panel with a LED backlit. All right? This is a projector. And the whole point of contrast here is to adjust your white digital levels. So you will see, as soon as I move this contrast, white digital level adjustment to 50, everything will become normal, and you will be able to see everything in a normal state. So 49, 50, same thing. You see, now you get to see the clouds and everything behind you in a detail, in a more balanced detail. Remember, the idea of calibration, it's balance. The key word they're always looking for, it's the balance. All right, so let's go back to the brightness. Let's click on the brightness. Now, this is not your brightness where you are controlling the brightness of your, for example, like on a TV, brightness where you're controlling the brightness of your LED backlit lights. All right, this is not what that is. What this is, it's your control and regulation of the deep, dark digital levels. Okay, we just covered the white digital levels, bright digital levels with a contrast. Here, brightness stands for deep, dark digital levels. So if we move the brightness all the way down, then we're going to be clipping our deep, dark digital levels, and we're going to be crushing them. That's also commonly known, used term called crushing your deep, dark levels. So we don't want to do this either. So we want to keep it at 50. So now you understand why I'm telling you to leave it at 50. You see, the difference between me and other people is I explain to you why and what the reason is behind why and why I'm doing it. Just like I explained to you in the beginning, the difference between the television and a projector. You need to have this basic knowledge before you can understand how to calibrate these equipments and these devices. And majority of people will not spend their time explaining this stuff to you in a basic term that I'm dissecting it for you in basic terms. Normally they will use a technical jargon language, which I could do easily, really well in 5 to 4 to 3 minutes, and just throw some technical jogger. All right, me, that's not my purpose here. My purpose here is to help you. So what have we learned here? A couple of things. The role of contrast on a projector is to adjust bright white digital levels. And the reason you cannot move it all the way high, it's because it's a projector. It's not a panel. So therefore, it will not take any effect for the HDR as it is on the television panel. Okay? So what I'm trying to tell you here, when you're calibrating your projector, you have to use different way of calibration instead of the way you were used to calibrating your TV. So don't use the same methods from your TV and implement them into a projector. It doesn't work that way. So the contrast here should be left at the 50 balanced level because this is your white, bright digital level regulation, and you want to keep them at 50 to be balanced. Let's go back here. Brightness, what it does, it regulates your deep, dark digital levels, and they need to be left at 50 balanced level. Now, in terms of color, this is my own personal preference. The default, it's 50, but I moved it up 5 clicks up, 5 times, 5 notches up, which is just more than enough color ingredients that I need to enjoy this Rec 709 DLP technology, pixel shifter, white color gamut. All right, and BenQ definitely has a nice white color gamut, and it definitely has a cinema color technology that's built inside the DLP chip to recreate that Rec 709 color. Some are stating that it goes beyond Rec 709, maybe BT 2020. I happen to agree it definitely does. So again, I leave it at 55 because I'm trying to avoid color oversaturation. Have you guys heard that term? Your colors are oversaturated. They're way too oversaturated, Or there's another term people would say, your colors are bleeding. Well, that's what that is. They're being oversaturated, meaning they're bleeding. So the best thing to do is leave it at 55. Or if you want, you can leave it at 50. But I think 55, it's a good sweet spot. Now let's go back to sharpness. This is something that a lot of people want to know, not just for the projector, but for the TV as well. In this case, this applies both for the TV and the projector, but especially for a projector, because here we are, 155-inch, gigantic screen. I'm 12 feet away here, holding my GoPro Hero 6 camera. First of all, it's a big giant screen. It's a gigantic, big, giant screen, and it's already representing and projecting 8.3 million pixels on the screen. So, on this big canvas of a screen, those 8.3 millions of pixels, they're being projected onto a screen, are already sharp enough with the detail. So there's no reason for you to use any edge sharp enhancements, because the picture, it's already in a full detail. This is as best of a detail as you're going to get. So you want to leave the sharpness at 0. And that's the reason why you should leave it at 0. I'm not saying it's some kind of a law that you have to have it at 0, but if you ask anybody out there who's a professional calibrator, any professional home theater tech TV guru out there, they will tell you sharpness needs to be on 0, especially with a high resolution 4K 8.3 million pixels, and especially on a big giant projector. Just imagine how awful that Infinity War Marvel Avengers movie would look if somebody in a movie theater moved that sharpness a little bit higher. It would be hard to watch. The detail would be over edge enhanced, and it would be just horrible. Now let's go back to the advanced settings really quick. HDR brightness. Again, this is a projector. The lamp can only output 2200 lumens brightness light. So it's not going to get any higher than 2200 lumens. All right? So that's what you get. That's what you get with a projector. So the safest bet is to leave the HDR brightness at 0. Why? Because if you move HDR brightness higher, then what you are doing is, again, you are overblowing the detail. You're clipping. So you want to keep the HDR brightness here at 0. Remember, this is a projector, not a TV panel. Two different technologies, two different things. Color temperature, always keep it at normal, because normal, it's in between that cold blue and yellow warm. So I like to keep it in between. I like to keep it on normal, balanced. Remember, the key word is balance. And last but not least, the color gamut. This is something you need to leave on automatic. Let the HDMI detect from your player to your projector what's the best chroma upsampling of color output. So leave the color gamut at automatic. Cinema Master, it's part of the chip that's built inside the projector that processes and enhances color, called the cinema color. This is something from BenQ. They're very good when in terms of color, representing the sRGB colors, and they definitely do that really well here. So what they're doing here is they're using a pixel shifter on a DLP to give you that nice color enhancer with the color gamut of Rec 709 or beyond Rec 709. I think this one goes beyond Rec 709 to BT 2020. Pixel enhancers. This is your 8.3 million pixel shifter that it's spinning and creating and enhancing that 8.3 million pixels image projected onto a screen. So the enhancer is kind of like sharpness to the pixels. So what it's doing, it's sharpening the pixels. So the best thing to do here, it's leave the pixel enhancer to a 3. I wouldn't go any more above 3. So there you go, guys. That's all I have for you right here in 22 minutes. Hopefully I answered your questions, and hopefully you have some understanding on the difference between projector and a TV and why projectors you need to calibrate a certain way when you are calibrating a projector. And that's what I try to do here in 22 minutes of this video. Remember, I'm here to help you. So hopefully this was helpful for those of you who are thinking about purchasing or buying a projector. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys with some more videos today. Take care. Have a good one.